This bracket needs some teams and some logos. We will do that in short order as the road to Nashville begins. 11 automatic qualifiers already know they're in. Just need to know where. 13 other spots up for grabs and at-larges. Bunch of deserving teams hoping to see their logos on that giant wall. Teams from coast to coast gathering. How about Abilene Christian? Won the UAC, beating Central Arkansas. Tennessee Tech winning the Big South OVC. Lehigh, congrats on the undefeated regular season. Not a lot of drama there, but much drama for others. Matt Schick, Greeny Angolia, Jay Walker here with you, where we will unveil the field of 24. You know, the FBS folks still trying to figure out how many teams should we have. We've figured it out here. Jay, what are you looking forward to?
Well, some newcomers. We've got some newcomers to the party, some names that everybody's not quite used to seeing there, and they've got to get used to postseason football. We'll see how they adapt in these changing times in the college football landscape.
And on that same beat there, with Ivy getting an automatic now, right, that takes an at-large away from someone. Yale beat Harvard yesterday, so we know Yale's in. Does Harvard make it too? Does Ivy get two? Fascinating.
We need to know a lot of things. Here are the things you need to know about the FCS selection show and the process. 24 teams, 11 autos, 3 at-larges. Greeny mentioned it. Ivy League participating in the FCS playoffs for the first time. So 8 teams eligible there in the Ivy. The top 16 seeded with the top 8 receiving a first-round bye. And for the first-round games, matchups will be based on location to save on those travel costs. We will unveil the top 8 right now.
Drum roll, please.
Top 4. I wonder who this is.
No drama.
North Dakota State, Jay, the reigning champ.
Hey, the more things change, the more things stay the same. Tim Polasek on his way to becoming another North Dakota State legendary coach there. This is a balanced team right now. They don't just rely on A-gap power. They've got explosiveness in the passing game, too.
How about Montana State? They won the Brawl of the Wild on the road. They get to stay at home.
First time Brent Vegan, head coach, has done that. Very good top 10 offense, defense. Caden Dollar, their safety, is the leader. 2 great running backs, and Julius Davis, Adam Jones. They're going to be a tough out.
All right, so that was for the 2. I guess the Brawl of the Wild was for the 3 as well.
You know that. Montana's got to have something to say. Head coach Bobby Hawk has his team ready to play. They averaged 41 points per game. They were undefeated until they took that L this weekend.
Kaylee Ayat, Eli Gillum, Michael Wortham. How about that 3-headed monster? How about the number 4 seed, Tarleton State, second year eligible in the playoffs?
Watch out for Tarleton. Number 1 scoring offense in the country, 45 points a game. And how about this? 36 takeaways defensively, plus 29 in turnover ratio. Outstanding.
Beat Austin Peay in overtime yesterday, 45-44, locking up a top 4. What do you make of the 4 that we've seen so far?
Balanced, you know, North Dakota State, we knew they were going to be there. They're going to have something to say, but the winner or the loser of Montana State really didn't matter that much. They didn't have the effect of it, really. They just swapped them in the national ranking, so to speak.
Yeah, it's funny.
So,
you didn't want to be in the 4-5, right? So you thought the loser might drop there? It
yeah,
didn't happen.
and the committee had a little personality with it, too, because you keep in mind, okay, they played each other. Well, if all things play out, that could be a heck of a rematch in the Final Four.
Have not seen that in the playoffs.
But in a great spot, Tarleton State getting that 4 seed, very good for them.
All right, that's your top 4. Let's go 5 through 8 now, and let's go with the number 5 seed. You saw them in the watch party. They don't have to wait long to see it. Lehigh Mountain Hawks. Makes sense to have a playoff game in Bethlehem in December.
They go ahead and celebrate. This is a stingy defense, only gives up 13.9. Fantastic running back in Luke Yoder with 15 touchdowns. They're going to have to be their A game to go ahead and keep it going. Lehigh, go on, celebrate. You're in the big dance.
Let's go. Patriot League champs, back-to-back Patriot League champs.
I need more from them. They don't seem too excited. They knew they were getting in.
Party was
They're
yesterday.
undefeated, but
Party
okay.
was yesterday. Number 6 seed, the Mercer Bears, back-to-back SoCon champs.
Yeah, they're just getting better each and every year. Great spot for Mercer there. 520 yards a game. Offensively, and 8 TFLs. It's an aggressive defense. They'll get after you.
That change at quarterback, Braden Atkinson. What a stellar freshman he is. Stephen F. Austin, the Lumberjacks, chopping their way to the 7th seed.
Hey, coming out of the Southland Conference, put some spec on their name. Head coach Colby Carthel in the 7th season, starting to get things done. Quarterback Sam Vidak, one of the best in QBR's passer ratings in the country.
10 straight wins. And how about the 8th seed, UC Davis?
Beat their rival Sacramento State yesterday to make sure they get in. But not only do they get in, they get the 8th seed. Samuel Batu Jr., the wide receiver, one of the best players in the country. Good spot for UC Davis here at the 8th seed.
How about that? So those are your top 8 seeds. Those are the teams that get byes in the first round and will host their initial game. All right, here is your first round. The winner of this game that we're about to unveil will take on the reigning national champions. Top left, here we go, 1 o'clock Eastern, ESPN+. Who is it? Illinois State got beat down by Southern Illinois yesterday. Maybe they had some visions of a top 8, but those went away quickly. Tommy Rittenhouse, Daniel Sopkowitz, former walk-on, most touchdowns, receptions in school history. They will visit Southeastern Louisiana, the Lions out of Hammond, Louisiana, out of the Southland. Second team out of the Southland that claimed the River Bell yesterday. They get a home game here as the 16th seed, Caleb Proctor. 8 sacks on the season. He's been terrific.
Yeah, tough place to go play down there. The Lions 9-3 this year under Coach Frank Scelfo. Carson Camp, their quarterback, over 1,600 yards passing. On offense, it averages about 33 points a game and plays very complimentary defense.
Let's talk about why Illinois State got in. Because they won 2 games on the road this year versus teams that were playing in the postseason. I believe that's the reason why Illinois State was able to advance.
Yeah, I agree with you, but it's a good matchup. I like that. The 16th spot for Southeast Louisiana is a good spot.
You mentioned the Redbirds, wins over South Dakota State, lost to North Dakota State, Youngstown State, SIU. Top 25, strength of schedule. Coach Broxback doing a nice job there. Illinois State back in it again for the second consecutive time to take care of the match.
It seems balanced. You know, Illinois State, that's a scary team because you knew if they got in, they're going to be a tough out for anybody going to take on the number 16 seed overall. But as you mentioned, Coach Broxback, he's got experience doing this 17 years coaching the Redbirds.
When you play in the Missouri Valley, like, you're a tested team, right? The competition's phenomenal all season long, and so when you get to the playoffs, let's forget the regular season. Let's see what team can get going, get sparked in this tournament.
Linebacker Ty Niekamp for Illinois State, career high 16 tackles yesterday in that loss to Southern Illinois. All right, that's the first round matchup that we know of. Let's move on down. The winner of this one will take on the Aggies of UC Davis out of the Big Sky as the 8th seed. Noon Eastern, ESPN+. Central Connecticut Blue Devils out of New Britain, Connecticut. The NEC champs. Coach Adam Lechtenberg doing a nice job. Elijah Howard, the 1,000-yard rusher, their 4th FCS playoff appearance. And they will be on the road for the first round visiting. Yeah, let's stay in the Northeast, shall we? Let's head to Kingston. The Rhode Island Rams, their first outright title since 1985 when they were part of the Yankee Conference. We mentioned Antoine Littleton Jr., 1,100 yards, ran for more than 200 against Maine last week. You know a little bit about that Yankee Conference?
Back in the day, yeah, my conference.
I think the key at this matchup, though, give credit to the committee. They keep everything in the region. They did a really good job making this a regional matchup. But Rhode Island, we talked about the season that they've had before, coming in there going undefeated in conference play. That does not happen too often.
They didn't play Monmouth or Nova, right? There's some unbalanced schedule there. They'll have a chance to prove it.
Yeah, but what I also like is the balance that they have. They've got a quarterback that threw for 3,000 yards in Farrell and a running back that rushed for 1,000 yards in Littlejohn. Very well-balanced offensive attack. They're going to be dangerous.
I love this. A great New England matchup, right? Round 1, Central Connecticut State has a chance, right, to make a big-time win in the region. We saw some highlights of them earlier. Talked about Elijah Howard, 1,000-yard rusher. Brady Olson, UMass transfer, 2,800 yards passing, 23 touchdowns. A very balanced team as well. And I just think they're kind of licking their chops at this matchup. You don't got to travel that far. It's a good one.
They lost in the first round of Rhode Island last year.
A little get back.
So
redemption chance.
Little revenge. We shall see. Winner takes on UC Davis. The winner of our next game takes on the Lehigh Mountain Hawks, the undefeated Mountain Hawks out of the Patriot League. What's the matchup? The Harvard Crimson are in.
Harvard!
Coming off their first loss of the season, they become the first Ivy at-large in FCS history. Quarterback Jaden Craig, great clutch kicker Kieran Core, getting it done despite the loss yesterday to Yale. They will take on and visit the 12-seed Villanova Wildcats. They've won 22 straight home games, the longest active home win streak in the FBS, their longest in school history. The Wildcats of the CAA going to host a first-round game.
This is another great first-round matchup. You know, Mark Ferrenti, 9th season head coach, very good. It's an offense in Villanova, averages close to 400 yards per game. Pat McQuaid, their quarterback, slinging it out there. He's over a 2,000-yard passer, 18 TDs. But talk about culture. Villanova, every year you look up, they're in the FCS playoffs. You always see them. They got a good culture. So this is a great matchup for Harvard.
You mentioned culture. Like David Abbott, the running back,
Yeah.
entered the portal after being Rookie of the Year last year. He entered the portal. He's like, what am I doing? I love it here. Comes back.
Come back.
Great
Yep.
year.
And the key becomes, well, what about Harvard? You know,
Yeah.
they got the at-large invite. That's the big news.
Yep.
So we've got a lot of teams
Yeah.
that are sweating right now because
Two
they took
Ivies.
a spot.
Two Ivies.
They obviously took a spot.
Surprised they made it, though? It felt like they were going to make it regardless.
It's Harvard. It's Harvard. Let's just say that. Now, they've got a name brand, national recognition known throughout the country. But the reason why they can win, they're the least penalized team in all of FCS football, and they've got 3 running backs that average over 5 yards per carry. If you can play that type of game and stay disciplined, you've got a chance at going on the road pulling off an upset.
But you hit it. The key point is the Ivy, their first year in the FCS playoffs, gets 2 in.
Taking 2 spots.
Taking 2 spots.
It's Harvard.
It's Harvard.
Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. Let's move on down. The winner of our next matchup will take on Tarleton State as the 4 seed coming up first week in December. Who do we have? Ooh,
Wow.
the North Dakota Fighting Hawks out of Grand Forks lost to South Dakota State yesterday in overtime.
Yeah.
All apparently was not lost despite the 7-5 record. They got wins over Youngstown State, SIU, close losses to North Dakota State, Montana, South Dakota, Kansas.
Them getting in is going to put some teams on alert for the rest of the show right now.
It might have surprised them.
Some raised eyebrows. Yeah, they having a watch party? I don't know. I don't know. Great strength of schedule as well, but 5 losses. They are in, and they will visit. Oh, wow. This could be fun. Tennessee Tech, the Golden Eagles out of Cookeville, Tennessee. Grab a shovel. Tucker Stadium's going to be rocking. They're in the playoffs for the first time in 14 years. And here is Tennessee Tech. Bobby Wilder, his 2nd season.
They knew they were in. That's why you're having a watch party.
Yeah, they had the watch party there. Now, I'm Cookeville. First time I ever had fried pickles in my life was in Cookeville, Tennessee. They were delicious, but let's give it up to the job that they've done there with their head coach, Bobby Wilder.
Yeah.
Got the Golden Eagles in play there for the postseason.
Only loss was to Kentucky last week.
Yep.
We should mention, I mentioned grab a shovel. There's a reason for that. It's their mantra, but also renovating, redoing the stadium there at Tucker. So they're giving up their home locker room for North Dakota. Tennessee Tech will take their
Good on
Prairie
them.
visit.
Good on them for doing that.
And I think that's what you get with the experience. When you've got a coach like Bobby Wilder
Yeah.
who made a living doing this at Maine, at Old Dominion, now there at Tennessee Tech, you say, you know what, he knows what it takes to host a game. This team was rolling up until they played Kentucky. They averaged the 40.
Yeah, but
I like that 40.
How about North Dakota? Matt was right. They lost to South Dakota State yesterday. They probably thought, okay, we're out of it at 7-5.
They were so deflated.
Yeah, first-year coach Eric Schmidt probably said, here we go, we're not in. What this tells me, Matt, is the committee is valuing the Missouri Valley very high.
And strength.
And strength, correct.
Very
Which
high.
might go which might go hand in hand.
But what do I always say? I don't necessarily want to see your 4th, 5th, 6th place team competing for a national championship
No.
when there's some other conferences out there that we know are going to get shortchanged. Spoiler alert.
We have unveiled the left side of the bracket. That's a huge bracket.
Yeah, it is.
And then we shift over to the right. There are plenty of spots available. 8 more teams need to be unveiled. Let's go ahead and do that right now. The first matchup that you will see on the right-hand side. The winner gets the Montana Grizzlies. Big Sky. Missoula championship will run through Missoula coming up on December 6th. Who will take on Montana? The winner of this game. New Hampshire is in. Out of the CAA, back-to-back playoff appearances. Dual threat quarterback Matt Vezza, 27 total touchdowns, 5 straight wins. They beat Maine on Saturday. Of course, have that 3-touchdown win over Monmouth as well. They get in, and they will face South Dakota State. There was a point yesterday in that first quarter. I'm not sure anyone thought the Jackrabbits would be on this graphic, but here they are. Their 15th consecutive FCS playoff appearance. Started 7-0. Lost their starting quarterback and 4 straight games. They beat North Dakota in overtime. Yesterday, the Jackrabbits, time to celebrate, folks. They get the 14th seed, and Brookings will host a playoff game.
Yeah, you know, in South Dakota State, why was the big whoa? Well, this is a team that had lost 4 of their last 5 games. a lot hinging on the health of Chase Mason. Quality win yesterday. They had to win that game, but this is a different team. Once you get Chase Mason back in there, they've got some things. They're dangerous. Now that they're in, they're dangerous.
You thought that game yesterday was winner in, loser out.
Yeah.
Apparently that's not the case.
Yeah, and this matchup here, this is usually like a quarterfinal matchup, not a first-round matchup with UNH going to South Dakota State. Ricky Santos, the head coach, one of the best FCS quarterbacks to ever play the game. You talked about Matt Vezza, their quarterback now, 19th playoff appearance for UNH. This is just a great matchup.
How about this? Welcome to postseason football. First-year head coach Dan Jackson replacing the legend Spiegelmauer, who was there. You're going to get a good taste right away. That's an interesting game.
Open up the year beating Montana State. You might have to go through Montana now in the second round. You will if you want to get where you
now they're getting it. That's what I'm talking about, fellas. Y'all are in. Don't try to act cool. Y'all were very nervous.
I think they believe if they lost that game yesterday, they were out. They know they pulled it out in just dramatic fashion, and I think they probably felt pretty good there.
That's a vacant room with the loss yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's move on down. Mercer is the number 6 seed. Macon will be hosting a playoff game against the winner of this matchup. The Drake Bulldogs out of Des Moines, their 3rd straight Pioneer title. Head coach Joe Woodley in his first season delivers them to the playoffs a year after losing in the first round. Nick Herman, we mentioned his stellar performance yesterday, clinching the auto bid with the win over Morehead State. Who will Drake face? The South Dakota Coyotes. Vermilion will host a playoff game. Another Missouri Valley team is in. Travis Johansson in his first season. 3 FCS losses, 8 FCS wins, beat North Dakota, beat South Dakota State, beat Southern Illinois in 5 overtimes. That might have got them in.
You're reading my mind. So they didn't play yesterday.
Right.
They played 2 weeks ago, and that Southern Illinois 5 overtime win, 53-51. No doubt to me kind of propelled them to make the playoffs. So, yeah, what a great job by them. It's an exciting team, and can't wait to see what they can do.
And if I'm Drake, I'm going to be like Drake the rapper. I'm going to be on one. So I'm on one, right? You know why they're on one? Drake had a great year, right? Their worst loss of the season, guess who that was to? South Dakota. They got beat 42-21. What's your reward? You have to go back and play them again. Hey, take it in stride, fellas, and say, you know what? We're all about the get back. You want some redemption, you have a chance to redeem yourself.
As a former running back, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention L.J. Phillips Jr. for South Dakota. Over 1,500 yards rushing, 15 TDs. He's having a nice season. I'm looking forward to seeing him do a little work in the playoffs.
South Dakota, team no one about a month and a half ago was talking about.
Yeah.
Right? And here they are getting it done and into the playoff. All right, moving on down. Stephen F. Austin out of Texas. Southland champs, 9 Division I wins. They will host the winner of the Lamar Cardinals. They lost to McNeese on Saturday, still get in their first appearance in 7 years. They had a win over South Dakota, another win over Southeastern Louisiana. Those wins certainly helping to carry the day for Peter Rosamondo's team there. 21 wins in his 3 seasons. They will face, all right, it was worth the wait, Abilene Christian. The Wildcats will host the Cardinals. United Athletic Conference, a Texas-sized battle in the first round. Back-to-back playoff appearances. Took down Central Arkansas Saturday. 4 straight wins. When Abilene Christian is playing well, they can be just about anybody. They've already had wins over Stephen F. Austin and Charleston.
And beating Charleston, but take a look at this overall, these teams playing. Call this one the deep in the heart of Texas.
Yeah.
They're going there. You don't have to leave the state right now. So those guys right there, they got the job done when they needed to. And I think everybody's a little nervous about Abilene Christian because anytime you can beat the number 4 overall national seed out there and get that victory, that shows that you have the ability to get it done. Keith Patterson with a great squad there in Abilene, Texas.
And I could hear the sigh of relief all the way from Lamar and Beaumont, Texas, because losing to McNeese yesterday, as you said, Matt, they probably thought, okay, we're a tweener now, but they get in out of the Southland. 3 straight winning seasons for them. A defense that's opportunistic. 3 defensive touchdowns this year. Great Texas matchup.
Some respect for the Southland.
Absolutely. Respect for the Southland. Let's also talk about this. You've got 4 teams from the state of Texas.
Yeah.
So the FCS football in the state of Texas is really starting to emerge on another level.
Very healthy down there in Texas.
They like what you had to say.
Yeah, a lot of good players in Texas.
But they need to give some love to that United Conference down there. They should have had a couple more teams from the state of Texas in there.
That was when they were announced. Sorry to follow, not because of your commentary, but it was still very good. Number 2, Montana State, the Bobcats out of Bozeman. Championship running through Montana this time of year. Who will they face? The winner of this game. There's Yale out of New Haven, Connecticut. The Ivy League auto bids. Dante Reno, the transfer from South Carolina. Ezekiel Larry on that defensive front with 10.5 sacks. They are going to waddle to Youngstown to face on the Penguins at Missouri Valley, the sixth
Yep.
Missouri Valley Football Conference team to get into the field. Bo Brungard, quarterback. No one lights it up like he does.
So we talked about it earlier. We know what the committee, Jay, thinks about the Missouri Valley Football Conference, so we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Bo Brungard, over 4,000 total yards, leads the nation. 23 touchdowns throwing, Jay, 24 rushing. He is having an incredible year. So
Dual threat.
Kind of glad they made it in for sure, because I can't wait to watch him do some work.
Everybody loves the dual threat, but how about Yale getting up in there as well? They only give up 17 points a game, so defense is the key. And the running back, Pitzenberger, we talked about 15 touchdowns to go along with 1,200 yards. He's going to have to be a main factor for the Bulldogs to have success in the playoff.
There is your bracket. It's done. All 24 teams are in. The road to Nashville is set. If you want to know the bids by conference?
Come on!
6 of them, Missouri Valley Football Conference. That's what Jay would have done. Big Sky, CAA, Southland, each able to send 3 teams. And the first year in Ivy League participating in the playoffs, they get 2.
I mean, absolutely. That tells you, if you're the Patriot League, you have to be saying, wow, what do we have to do to get more teams in there? Pioneer League team only got 1 team as well. Spread the love. Spread the love. 6 too many. I'm a standby. Well, 6 too many.
Big Sky had 5 last year. They only got 3. I'm with you with United Athletic there. And to get to your point about Pioneer, Presbyterian was one that had a really good year, and they got left out.
Randy, have my back. Yes or no, is 6 too many from one conference competing for a national champion?
Listen, you know what the committee's going to say. It's not about the conference. It's about the individual teams. If they feel like 6 got in, then 6 get in.
Trying to get the 24 best.
I feel you, though, to spread it out. I get you, Jay.